Hello, this is Brennan Moriarty, I'd like to do some of my poetry for you. So it goes like this: PG, real keys in the cup of Jesus, God, please to our poverty ceaseless. Reality is just to ease us, sealing and reeling the New Age quest for happy thoughts and peace that's best. The rhetorical phase contained in grace, normality, liberating new space. How could man with love do less? How could machines with hate confess? Whether it's never or heaven sent, like a feather, the angels repent. Let's see here. Try to do this one PG, but I tell you, it's hard to do it if I'm not in the zone. You have to like get sort of pumped up, and otherwise it sounds like a traffic incident. Okay, that's actually what 511 kind of means. The 411 is the general information. The 511 is the traffic information. So it's like navigational stuff, and it's um, if you have to push the car, it doesn't really work. Um, but it goes like this. I got the 511 on the Democratic cancer. Just get me out of here. That's the only damn answer. Before I blow up the scam and fake every single answer, just get me out of here while I'm young and handsome. And so it's kind of it's a mix between Rage Against the Machine and Eminem, and it probably could use a little blues or at least some classical sort of relief, because I do like the symphony music a lot, a lot, a lot. And I didn't really understand it where I'm from. It's very far away. I kind of like world music, um, ethnic music, but it's kind of like playing alien scapegoat sort of thing in the frontier. So it's not necessarily safe out there. I try to explain this reality that 511 is also, it's basically a George Washington, Paul Revere cop out, okay? That's what it's cop out, yes, indeed. Because George Washington is effectively arrested by the French for starting the 7 Years' War, basically the American Indian War. This is the American Revolution's precursor. Because he doesn't get out of there, because Benny and Jenny, because Ben Franklin is an innocent kid, 15-year-old who's writing some stuff, and it just doesn't qualify him for the ultimate scholarship. I don't know what does. Okay, and he should have, that should have, so that's that. And so Le Gaucheret is kind of that frontier, actually. So it goes, la côte La Gaucheret, non, pas très compliqué, ouvert un portage et le monde lumineux. I see what you say, no better gesture. Okay, from a normative maze to California, yeah. À la lune près et les sols occupés. Christopher Colombo à la Shanghai, baby. Um, and I was interrupted there. My kitchen studio here. Um, so, anyways, I sit in bed, and normally I would just record the stuff right there, but I can't because there's other people around, and I dare not. Um, um, Especially because a lot of them aren't actually English speakers, okay? And the ones who are, they're drunk or they're worse. Um, um, let's see here. I have some more poems too. You know this, don't you? And yet, I speak Spanish, but I wish that I had spoke French, because um, it's I don't know if it's more first world, more sophisticated, because I certainly the overall Mediterranean vibe is really good, but where I'm from, it's third world. Okay, it's like Mexican. My dad would hire Mexicans who didn't speak English intentionally because he didn't want, he didn't have a corporate, secure world. He didn't have that career. George Washington, close enough. Okay. Um, the process, the language of gangsterism is of alienation, of miseducation. So the question is, this is very important. How would I know? Okay, I didn't have the education which you guys did. So this question of how would I know? That is the fundamental reality. Okay, because I didn't have that experience, and I wish I did. Okay, because I'm the apprentice who would actually comprehend that stuff. That's why people go to the frontier, to Silicon Valley, to California, to find some George Washington messenger who can be properly educated, okay, and not just making desperate attempts, because without that conditioning, without that happy home, the whole world is an excuse for the worst things to happen. And I'd much rather help people who really care, who actually have that experience. That's why I came to Western Europe, because in California, my family just thought it was all a joke. They wouldn't understand. Okay, that is the thing. I talk about this can't, don't, and what. Yeah, we don't do that in this country, or we can't because we're not clever enough, or not stupid enough, one of the two, or we won't because we don't like you. Some, and that's what I experienced in California, because otherwise it would be organized, and it wasn't. I was up against. Okay, so 511. All right, so this is about George Washington. He's a guy. His mother practices healthcare. All the mass shooters. The guy who shot John Lennon, his mom was a nurse. So was mine. The guy who did that had a little sister. So did mine. So did I. My mom had a little sister and a big brother, and her dad was a doctor, a family doctor. Okay, and that, I think, was a wholesome reality. All right, it was quite a civilized place. He had his own office there. It was just down the street from the house. And whereas my mom worked in a hospital, different from a family doctor, very different. And it's a cliche that intelligent people should actually be there at the hospital, because it's something very computer AI oriented that I would help organize, and I would symbolically, very symbolically, played the part and help solve the migrant crisis and the global poverty issues. I really have that all figured out, but I really love the arts. But I really want you guys to interrupt and say, Brennan, come with us, because we know that you have all the answers. I do. And I don't want to keep going on because you guys are afraid. I don't want to use the word prejudice, but it has never happened before. There is no George Washington. The mass shooter happens because people like George Washington, like myself, are systematically neglected. And I want to sign a lifetime agreement so I don't have to deal with any of those questions, because all those excellent people, I would love to help them do some fantastic stuff and get the right character, because I absolutely do not want to insult people just because they're looking for that. Okay, I know some people are, but I'm not. I'm only looking for flattery and excellence. All right. And I know, again, some people are like, no, 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 no. So I try to do a lot of excellent writing, literature, scientific equations, and then to turn them into poetry, so that it is lots of fun. And I couldn't do it in California, dude, because it was like totally impossible, man. And if I get too elaborate of it, people become acutely alienated. Very Jim Morrison. It's very easily an excuse for radical behavior. The Vietnam War, ding, right there. Instead of understanding and then simply agreeing, okay? And that means all the networks and all the big tech and the president of the United States, all of them, okay? I pointed out this thing about President Ford, Geraldine Ford. He was a linebacker, I believe, and I think they said he had sort of a George Foreman reality to him, that he got hit too many times. Not that George Foreman did. I don't know if that actually happened. Muhammad Ali, perhaps. Okay, there you. Um, you I try to avoid any sort of conflict. I prefer to have the perfection system mechanism all set up, and do that in a private office, sealed in there, okay, with someone who's my equal. If they're not my equal, it's just, and it's an excuse for everything bad in the world to happen. And by my equal, I mean hopefully they speak English well, because again, I talk about this. My family in California just thought it was all a joke, so I could not possibly do anything there. And there was this weird thing. Anytime we'd go to some place like the third world, they would quickly be abandoning me somehow, like routinely. There's a picture of me with a sunburn in Mexico. I'm badly sunburned, and they're just all hanging around me like, oh, everything's hunky-dory. I'm like, horribly sunburned. These people don't care. It's right there in that photo. My 15th birthday, perhaps. I don't know. And if we ever went to the first world, it was always like, okay, here's your, you got to stay here because you're going to be so happy. And I was like, oh, I wanted to escape and go away forever from the third world, because without love, and that's not unconditional love, because you're family, you're not going to marry your family. Okay, even if you're from an immigrant community, even if you're an only child from an immigrant community, because this shows up, where you have all the support in the world. Frank Sinatra is a perfect example of that. He's got all the love, all the attention, and of the immigrant community, and I didn't have that. I love it though, and I respect it, but not on the internet, because this is only so you guys can say my name, and I will